Hello, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to code a GTA5 10k drop modded job. And a lot of people have come to my attention that they think this is fake or not real. This does work, it takes a lot of time and effort to make. So today this is going to be part 1 of 5 parts. Today I'm going to be teaching you what software to use, how to actually install it, and the basics of the code that you're going to be using. So what you want to do first off is go on Google, link will be in the description, the first link, that will take you to code.visualstudio.com. Once you're on here you want to go ahead and click download for Windows or for Linux or different types, and it will take you to here. So that way you want to download it and click save. I've already downloaded it, so there's no point to install again. Anyways, once you've installed it, flick through the website, make sure you sort of know the basics on what the code is, what you're going to be installing. It's not a virus, it's actually by a trusted company, so yeah, check out their website. Anyways, swiftly moving on. Once you've installed it and you've loaded it up for the first time, it should look something along the lines of this. You won't have this hello and how are you, that was a test. It will come up like something like this. Now the first off, what you're going to want to do is drag it over to the other side of your monitor so you've got a bit of room to actually move about. What you want to do, I would recommend doing this on your desktop and not anywhere in your file system, as this will be a bit easier to come back to later on in this coding session. So what you might want to do the first time is create a folder and name this whatever you want. So obviously it's going to be our modded job, so it's obviously whatever you're going to choose. For example, I'm just going to name this GTA5 modded job. Just remember what this is called, because you're going to need this later on in the future, but it doesn't matter what this is called for the time being. Now open this up and you will have nothing in this folder, it will be completely empty. What you want to do is go ahead and open another folder inside of this, rename it and name this first folder job, all in capital letters. Make sure it's all capital letters. Now create another folder. Now this is dependent if you're on Xbox or if you're a PlayStation player. In this case I'll be creating both in this whole tutorial session so I can actually show you what you're supposed to do. So let's create your first folder, which is PS4, and another folder that's Xbox One. Now what you want to do is drag this job folder in both of these, so I'm going to need 2 of them, so let's drag that in there, make a new folder, and drag this one in Xbox. Now you should have a basic folder, whatever it's called. When you open it up you'll have PS4 or Xbox One. When you open it you'll both have job in both of these. Now for the time being of today's video I'm just going to be showing the PS4 one, but it's basically the same for Xbox One. So if you're doing it for Xbox, then all you got to do is copy and paste everything in this this one and then paste exactly in here, but obviously it'll be for Xbox. So today I'm doing PS4, so when you're in here click on job, and this is where you're going to want to quickly make this a little bit smaller, somewhere where you can get access to it later on. Now this is where we're going to go and hop over to the code now. So now this is where we want to click on a new file. When we click on new file, make sure you click on file, save as, and make sure you find out where this is. So in this case it's in my desktop, and then I need to find the folder. So it's down here. So as I said, I'm doing PS4, click on that, click on job, and then in here you want to go, make sure you click on this down, let me just make so you can see it. Make sure you definitely do click on this down arrow. Go down to the bottom where you can see Java and stuff. You'll see java.java and jav, but make sure you click on JavaScript, the middle one. Don't click on the first one or the third one. It has to be the middle one. Once you've selected this, you'll see it's whatever the name currently is, and then .gs. Click behind the dot, backspace. Now this first one is going to be the basics of it. This doesn't really matter what it's named, but in this case, to make it a bit more make sense, I'm going to be doing the NPCs first. So NPC, you can do a upper comma and then S. NPCs, so this is what the NPCs will be dropping. In this case, they'll be dropping 10k. But today, I'm going to be teaching you not just 10k, 1 million. 1 million per drop. So here is the here. Click on save. Now you'll see, now this is why it's going to come and look really cool. You'll see here it's going to see JavaScript file and it'll be NPCs. Now this is where it's going to like get a lot complicated, so that you guys are going to have to listen very in depth. I'm going to try and do it as slow as possible. But now, let me just hover over this one. So now in the code you can see we've got the NPC. Let me just minimize this back again. Now the first line of code, you haven't really got to do anything, just click enter a couple of times so you've got a bit of gap so you can do anything here. First line of code is basically just hold down the hashtags. That's it. That's all you got to do. You want to have your starter code of hashtags and then click enter, make sure it's on your second line. And at the top is whatever this folder's called. So in this case, if I go to here, you need to click on rename and make sure you copy this whole thing. So Control C. You need to make sure you copy that whole line. Now here you want to do a inner bracket, and you'll see it does a double bracket by default. That's how nice it is. And then you want to paste whatever this is called. You'll notice the text will come up colored, etc. Now you can go ahead and get rid of how many hashtags you got rid of. I just did it because it looks nice. You only really need to do one hashtag, and then you want to do a region. Now this is where your code is going to start. Now this is where it's going to get really complicated. That is basically the easiest part of it all. Now, before all this, you want to go on your PlayStation/Xbox, go into Creator, and make a job. Once you've made the job, go ahead and publish it to the social club. Once you've published it to the social club, which will look something like along the lines of this, you want to go ahead and look it up on your social club. So I made this job, and this is what the job looks like. So zoom in. This is what it is. Once you're on here, all you need to do, you can't do this on your PlayStation or console. You need to physically go on your published job. Now on your job, make sure it's obviously a capture or a survival. In this case, I'm doing a survival. In this survival, make sure your NPCs spawn at least 5 or 6 meters away from your spawn. So in this case, I have the spawn here, spawn point 15-1, and then the NPCs over here. What you want to do is go where your NPCs are. So in this case, the NPCs are spawn point here. Right click it and then click inspect element. Once you've inspected element, give it a second to load, and you'll see this side of code. Now this code's already coded for you, which is, yeah, it's got all the coordinates for where all the NPCs spawn. Now what you want to do is scroll all the way up to the top. Scroll all the way up. It could take a bit, there could be a lot of this code, so just probably use the sidebar. And you want to scroll where it first says here is the path, and it will say the very top one. At this point in time, you want to go ahead and double tap, click on it, and it will load up certain bits of code. You will only want this code bit here. So if you double tap wherever the numbers are, it'll be different for each person unless you're doing it exact. If you're trying to do the same job as me, which there's no point doing, only do your only job, otherwise it won't work. Once you've got this bit of code, literally do this Control C. Once you've Control C'd it, go back to your code, make sure you underscore your region, and now you'll have this line of code which is your first NPC. And all you got to do now is go back, click on this, double click again, Control C, go back to your Visual Studio Code, press enter to go on another line, and you want to do this a couple times for your NPCs. As you can see right here, the NPC number out of all the code, the only different number is the first one. So as you see, it's 341A6 and this one's 318A6. Now there's not really any faster way of doing this. You physically have to go through each one, Control C, and then paste it. In this case, I'm not going to do every single NPC. I'm going to do just one more, just for the sake of this video. I don't want this video being 10 years long. We'll do one more, because only 5 NPCs spawn at once. So there we go. Now you've got the line of the 5 NPCs where the region is. Make sure you space it under, press hashtag again, and this time do the end region. So now you've got your region for your NPCs. Now you're probably thinking already, this does not make any sense on how they drop money. Correct, you are very correct. Now I'll be showing you the next region. So type hashtag and then region. And now this is where you want it to type in brackets again, and this time you want to put in brackets, as you just see I've just done, and type money. Then next to it do a side slash, then another bracket, and then for the GTA it's dollars. Make sure you do the dollar sign. Under it again do hashtag, and then N region. Copy the exact same script as above with money. Make sure that it's got a capital M as the for money, and slash again, and then brackets with a $sign. But this time you want to type how much they're going to drop. I was going to do 1 million, but I think what I might do, just for the sake of this, because the chances of it working are probably really slim, so I'm probably just going to make it nice and easy this time. I'm going to go easy with just $10,000. Make sure in between, obviously, if you're going to do sort of numbers like I am, make sure you do space out along the lines of like this. Now, that is only per kill for these. Now you need to make it obvious, so copy all of your NPCs by doing highlighting out all and then Control C, or just right click in and click and copy. Now go under it and then type in start, and then you'll see a static range. Make sure you click that. It will come up nice coloured because it is JavaScript. Click enter and then paste in all them again. And then you want to make sure under this, not under, to the side, brackets, you want to type in kill, and then you want to click KI, web kill point, and then you want to put in brackets this time, by player. So kill by player gets 10,000. Now to make this whole line of code so much more easier, copy this whole line of code, space it down, paste it again, this time killed by NPC, and you'll see it comes up ABC NPC. Make sure you click that, and you'll notice the NPC is slightly darker because it copies the first line of code. All you need to do now is make sure this number here is different to what this number is. In this case, we're going to do $2,000. So basically what this means, if you kill the NPC, you get $10,000. If your friend in the game or another NPC kills another NPC, you get $2,000. That is basically the basics from it. Now you've got how the kills work. Now you're wondering, well, how does this all work together? Well, remember this is a 5-part episode, so make sure to drop that like and subscribe. I'm going to put all these in a playlist so you can definitely go ahead and watch from the beginning to the end with no problem. Now, one thing I've realised I haven't actually showed you is after each line of this code, make sure you open an inverted bracket, and then make sure you type in all in caps END, and then it will come up with end code URI. Make sure you go ahead and copy this, go onto this and paste it for both line of these. Now, this next line of code, you're going to need to know what the name of the job is. So in this case, it's the Real JVC Hat Lobby, because that's my job. Go ahead and copy all of this. We don't need this as inspect element anymore. Make sure you know what this is. Now you want to make sure you type job, and it will say JSON. And you want to type in inverted comma and then paste what your name of the job is. Make sure it does, if it comes up anything like this in between these two, make sure you click on this so it highlights both of these, and then press enter so you don't end up having two lines of code on each side. Now you want to type in OP and it will say open. Then you want a @ symbol and it will say origin, space down. Then you want to decide on the area, the range between you and the NPC. So at this point in time you want to go up to the top, copy the first line of code, paste it in. This time instead of doing the npc.json, back out all the way down to the NPCs underscore, and then range. Then you want to go under it, range equals, and then you want to type in your range. So in this case of the range, to make it more simple, I'm just going to type 99999 loads of times, because if you kill someone on the other side of the map, then it's not really going to happen. You're going to be in close range. Space down again, then you want to type in CON and it will say confirm, and space again, type in length and then equals, and then the same number you put up here, so 123 123. That now you'll notice that the name of your job, your first letter, so in this case for mine, will start to be highlighted green. You'll notice now you know that this code is connected to this. Now come down a couple lines of code, because now this is where you get into probably the most easy part. This point in time, you want to make sure that this whole time you've got the website in the background. You want to go ahead and copy the whole URL for this website. So when you play this job, it knows that this is. Then you want to type in WEB, and you want to go right down to the bottom where it says WebGL buffer. Now you want to do a bracket and then paste in this URL. Now once you paste in this URL, this last line of the code is what we're going to be using for this last page of this series. So go ahead and copy this. This is what you're going to need for basically the job, getting the NPCs, etc. Now you want to go down and type in a couple down, make sure you just go down a couple page, NPC, just like that. And you want to type in NPC1 bracket 1. Then go down again and then type the same thing a couple times, NPC bracket, but this time 2. In this case we did 5 NPCs, so we're going to be doing 5 NPCs. Now you saw what I just did, because I was behind the bracket, the bracket came back, so just be careful with that. NPC bracket, and then 4, and then one more NPC bracket 5. Now you can go ahead and paste in this one line of code. Make sure you do a space in between each line of code, otherwise it just won't like you. There we go. Now what you want to do is for each line of these NPCs, this is where I told you earlier on, each NPC has its own individual number. So go to wherever, I know we've copied this 3 times now. I'm going to do it from here, I'm going to do it from top to bottom from both sides. You can type this in or just copy it. I'm just going to copy it because it'll be 10 times easier. So you want to go from the top one So basically this line here is this line of code. And all you got to do is do this in a bracket, paste. And do the same thing for all 5. So just going to go ahead and see if I can, there we go. Control C, close bracket, paste. I'm going to copy that, Control C, bracket, paste. Now if it's copy and pasting the first numbers for it, as you see here, first one you don't want the numbers to be for, and the last ones you do. Reason for that is because most of the time having the numbers for it, it makes the NPC bug out, so just don't do that. So for this one here, I'll go ahead and copy the whole line. We'll do that one as well. We'll do a couple randomly. It doesn't really matter for these. As I said, it can bug out, can not bug out. It's completely up to you and how if you want to risk it. I'm just going to do 2 of them none and 3 of them separately. Now once you've done this line of code, this is where it's going to get nice and interesting now, where you get to type in some numbers which you're going to need to lock in your head. Now I'm going to leave a line of different numbers in the description so you can remember what these are. When you make a job and you publish it, you'll get a baseline code. To get this baseline code, hover over the bookmark job, inspect element, and you'll get a baseline code right here. And this is your baseline code. So double click where it says club_medium. I'll make sure you publish a job, etc. And Control C, and this is going to be your baseline code. I'll show you what I mean once you paste it. If you type now base broadcast channel space and then baseline and then type code in lowercase and then paste, you'll notice it's going to be really long. This whole thing is not your whole baseline code. The only part you need out of all of this is this last bit, because you'll notice it copies itself over and over. Go all the way down to where it says success, backspace it, so you've just got success, space, UI button, social club _medium, UIG, and then here you go. Here's your code in total. Now once you got this, you want to put speech bubbles above both of these, from here to here, and you'll notice now it goes in red, so that's nice. Now go ahead and space it down, and then type, space it down one more time, END, and it says extends, and then we'll type END in caps, and then you want to type the last, we did the same code here, go back up a bit where it says Jason / and then whatever your name is. Let's go ahead, paste this in. Type in job, starting, ... Make sure you do a space in between. Then type in false. And then you'll type in job, starting, ... True. Then you want to type in payout, random source. And there we go. Now we've got the first line of code for the NPCs. So I hope you enjoyed today's first series episode. We're going to be doing the next episode again. If you're watching this and it's months gone past, check out my playlist. There will be a playlist linked in the description for the next episode. But before we finish this, there's one thing you gotta do, and that is file, and make sure you save. So now every time you go to load up this, you can easily go to here, and you've got your NPC file that you're all ready to load up by loading it up. As you see, I just loaded it up and it says Windows script host because it doesn't work. That is because you need to open up, always make sure you open it in your editing software, your coding software, by clicking open file and then opening it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one for part 2. See you guys.